Tube's not working. It's working. Check, baby, check 1, 2. Ladies and gentlemen, Pedro and I will be with you shortly. All right, Pedro, you give me an audio check now.
Audio check 1, 2, 1, 2. Audio check. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah, I'm just waiting to hear it on the stream.
The Iranian president says Iran will never seek nuclear weapons.
All right, Pedro, your mic is hot, and I'm gonna go live here. One second, everybody. We'll be with you in just a moment. All right, ladies and gentlemen, and we get this show on the road. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Welcome to DYOR Live here on the DYOR Media Network. My name is Tom, otherwise known as Striking, here in the digital media universe. So glad to be hosting another great episode of this show called DYOR Live. It's September 25th, 2025. Thanks for the waiting around for the late start today. Back in another temporary studio, but that doesn't mean we're not going to bring you the good information today. In the box next to me, am I looking the right way here? Yes, I am. Mr. Pedro Garcia, the crypto chart analyst, with his Stevie Wonder glasses on today, but when he wears those, he can read the screen, ladies and gentlemen, so that's a good thing. Pedro, what's happening today?
Dude, things are awesome, man. I mean, the stuff that is popping in crypto is absolutely fun. What we got going on with the BRIC nations and World War III getting set up, absolutely atrocious, but it's still a lot of news and craziness. I'm not going to say fun because it's not fun, but it's just crazy times that we live in, man. And I'm actually glad to be alive in the midst of it.
Glad to be alive. That's awesome, Pedro. That's awesome. That's good news. Good news for everybody that you're alive, because then you can bring us The Pedro Damas effect. Pedro, what's going on with BTC, and where are we going today in the markets?
That is a great question. Let's check out some great stuff that's happening here, because I'm Tony the Tiger, and it's great. All right, so we haven't been streaming much this week, but we've talked about how the market should come down to these lower levels. We've talked about it since last week. I said once we capped out right here, and we put this candle in on Friday. I said, well, I'd expect it to come down into that lower level of that 114. The next level is going to be that 113. The next level is going to be that 110, 109 or 111 to the 110 area. So this is what we're seeing. And it's looking like it's going to continue. It's not going to stop here. So that next level of liquidity is going to be that 107,470 area. So that's going to be at the bottom. I mean, if we close off this way, I'd expect to see it. And so that's going to give us a green candle for the month potentially. So we're kind of waiting and seeing what's going to happen here. Fingers crossed that we hold here. If we can hold here, which it doesn't look like it's showing, we're most likely going to come back down and test these lower levels and to pick up more liquidity for it to continue higher. So that's kind of like what I'm expecting, just simply because what we're seeing on the monthly and the weekly. Like we've been talking about volumes just basically kind of pulled out of the market up at these levels here. Oh, here we go. We saw the market just kind of pull out of the liquidity right here over the last few weeks, and we've talked about this. And then right here, as we were coming down, like I said, if we're holding here, I might expect us to go up. Right, because we're not continuing down. But after last week's doji candle with the big, basically dragonfly, this is what you would expect to see it to continue down here. So if we hold here, that we need to hold here. We need to hold here. If we can hold here, then this is where we'll tap liquidity right here at these lower levels here, which is going to be that 110,740 areas where we're looking. If it does not, well, we're actually right there right now as we speak. Actually, so let's see right here. This is again a liquidity area, so expected to come down. We've already started trading through it already, so you can see here. This is not the setup. You want to see it directly come down into with one giant, or like a 15-minute just big red candle coming out, hit liquidity, and we want to see it back up. The fact that it held right here and pushed back up is not necessarily a good thing. So we're going to see if it might just pull back up to that 8-period moving average. But you can see here, we're already tapping that low of 110,740. We literally tapped it, pushed back up to about that almost 850 here. So you can see here, there is a little bit of a war, but man, they're pushing. I mean, look at this right now. We're watching. They're coming in strong, hot, and they pushed up first on this 1 minute. So again, I'm expecting this to continue down. If it's going up right now, this is just to alleviate the actual pressure from the stops that are being triggered, and it looks like they're looking to continue down into these lower levels. So yeah,
that's a big decline there.
Yeah, and then also the new king of the hill right now for stuff is going to be Aster.
Man, I totally left that out in the introduction. Ladies and gentlemen, if you paid attention to our intro, you never would have known about it. But if you paid attention to our thumbnail, I had a picture of CZ coming in here dressed as the Emperor. And let's all recall that CZ had a little trouble with the U.S. law, we'll call it, for a while there, and had to go on a vacation at Club Fed. But he retained all of his Bitcoin and BNB. And, while Binance has a lot of that, he had a lot of it personally. And apparently, if a number of you probably don't remember, but a number of you probably do, CZ said famously a while ago that he didn't even understand how DEXs worked. And he was like, wow, this is intriguing. And so all of a sudden he goes quiet for a while and he reappears as the backer of this Aster Dex. I personally don't know a lot about it because Pedro brought it to my attention only recently. I've not interacted with it. But when a billionaire backs a billionaire with well, with billions, and with the clout that CZ does backs a project, you know it's going to get media attention. And so Pedro and I are covering it today, and we think it's going to be, along with many other people in the market, think it's going to be a big thing. So we're going to start addressing that here today, and probably a lot over the next couple of weeks.
We also have an affiliated, if you guys want to sign up with them and start trading, we do have an affiliate. So we want you guys to come and sign up on the.
It's in the body of this on YouTube and Rumble. Right. Actually, I better check that to make sure.
Do you want me to send it to you, buddy?
No, I mean I put it in the body of the thing. I just, when I had to rebuild the show here. No, I will re-add it right now.
All right, cool. All right, awesome. Well, let's talk about a little bit what's actually happening in the market. So we're seeing, we saw a lot of liquidity come into the market, trying to kind of push the market up. And you saw the institutions. We all wanted the institutions to get involved, and well, they are, and they're doing what institutions do. When everybody's buying, what are they doing? They're selling. And when everybody's selling, what are they doing? They're buying. So it is really interesting to see what's actually happening here. I was on Shogun's show on Aster's, because I was starting to learn about it and see what's going on. And then I saw Shogun was talking about. I was like, oh my goodness, he's been doing this for a few days now. So I literally went through and was on it for a while. And he asked me, "I want you to do TA on it. What are your thoughts?" And if ever you hear me, and this is our guys who are watching us, who typically listens to me and Tom, if you ever hear me shy away from doing TA, you know that means it's most likely going to go down. If you ever hear me say, I'm always known as the TA guy, I want to be more kind of just talk about the coin itself, the business behind it. That's code for me saying, look, I don't want to get all the hate mail that comes along with me being bearish on a new token. And I've already done that enough times now where, like I look like a genius after the fact, but the problem is in the midst of it, it's so much headache for me because everybody's always, Pedro, what about this? What about that? You don't know. Be quiet. We're not going to let you back up here. You're dumb. And I'm like, all right. So I just have learned to be like, yeah, man, let's just talk about the actual business behind the token. If ever you hear me say that on a public setting, that's like code for you who typically listen to us. Yeah, this stuff's going down. So, and it was funny because it was all the way up in here at these levels of that 243. And when they put in this, it was around this period yesterday around 6 o'clock on Wednesday. And I was like, oh man, they're putting in all these seller wicks in, dude. Like, look at that. And then the liquidity was right here. So they came in, tapped it. And once I started seeing this right here, where I started noticing that the 20 and the 8 here were like coming together for the crossover. And we've talked about the cross, right? Like the crossover here, the 8 and 20. I was like, this thing's going down. And so like, I was actually trying to get my money into Aster, which is, by the way, remember how we talked about how
Aster?
Aster. Yeah, that's what it's called. Or excuse me.
What's Aster?
Not Aster. I keep calling it, I don't know why I keep calling it Aster. It's Aster. Aster. And I don't know why I keep calling, like even on shows, he's like, bro, it's Aster. And I was like, I know. And I was like, and he's like, you keep calling it Aster. And I was like, I don't know why I keep wanting to call it Aster. Like, but it's just, it's in my head now. So for whatever reason, call me out and be like, hey, knucklehead, it's Aster. But for whatever reason, I can actually go into their crypto futures and trade it. And I'm not blocked. I'm not being restricted. There's nothing against it. So I'm like, how did CZ get around that? Like, how is he getting around the legislation in America? Because I still can't go on Mexi. I can't go on any of these other, futures.
Yeah, it's a good point, Pedro. I don't understand it either because there's a lot of things or exchanges that we can't use, but there's a lot of them we can that are based overseas. and they don't block us, and they say they conform to the U.S., but they're not they're not regulated by the CFTC. I don't understand how that works right now. All I know is that they've stopped prosecuting them. So
where I live, you can't go to any of them. It's all blocked. Like I just
you can't go to you can't even go to BitFi.
If I go to it, I've got to go on a but I don't do this because this is against the law. But if I was to do this, I would have to go into a VPN setting and then
it's not against the law.
Well,
you can use whatever service you want. What's against the law is they may be breaking U.S. law, but some of them don't care or say that they're legal, and I don't understand how they're legal.
So either really simple. The thing I like about it more than anything is this. Okay, and this is what blew me away.
Hey,
If
Pedro.
Mhm.
Pedro,
Yeah, go.
hold on one second. Let's. I got to interrupt you just one second to make sure our technical glitches have caught up with us here, or didn't catch up with us. And anyway, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to DYOR Live. Got the YouTube stream finally worked out. And you are watching DYOR Live here on the DYOR Media Network. It's September 25th, 2025. Pedro, Garcia, and I are taking some time today to go over the new CZ project called Aster Dex. And so we would all like you to pay attention to it. And I usually, as I always say, my name is Tom, otherwise known as Striking here. The man in the box next to me is Mr. Pedro Garcia, the crypto chart analyst. Pedro, let's get back to talking about Aster.
Aster. So I like the web. I like the whole entire system. It's still clunky, but the thing is it's, I can actually, this is the part that's so crazy.
Yes.
I love the fact that it literally allows me to be able to trade Apple, Amazon, Tesla, the Qs, and I'm sitting there like, how is this possible? How do they do it? You know, our friend that you've been connecting with I think it's Okla or something like that, that when I go to and we go to the Qs, the SPY for crypto, and you know who has it, right? That that organization. Here, let me
BTCC?
No. I'll show you here because I'm just realizing that I just sound like a crazy guy, which I normally do until I'm proven right. Yeah,
Crypto
baby.
Mike, yes, we did freeze for a little bit there. We had a little technical issues there. They've been haunting us all day today, and thus the late start.
Yes, we were actually ready on time. Well, 15 minutes late.
Pedro was ready. I was here, but the technical issues said no.
Aha, gotcha. All right, so let's move here real quick. We're gonna go SPY. PIF, that's what it's the stock crypto oracle. These guys are working in conjunction with Aster, and they're feeding them all the correct information. So if you hear me talking about Netflix, or you hear me talking about Meta and a play to play, you can now play them on Aster on their website. And the cool thing behind it is, look, it's still low volume, okay? So be careful here and don't go like 50x, which you can, by the way. But you can see, I mean, this is Tesla, right? Look, Tesla right here. You can see, look, this is crazy, dude. Like,
hello, Kaching. Welcome to the house, Kaching.
Tesla is 25x. You can trade it, but you've got to have the finance to be able to do that. But look, you can actually trade it, which is really cool. Let's say you want to trade Meta, because I'm like, hey guys, it's a good buy area here, and you can get in, and it's DeFi, so it's dopey dope. And then you're like, okay, well, I just saw Meta. Where's Meta at? Meta. Come on.
Yeah, Patrick Stefanik, Pedro is in the house, and he's saying, how do you buy Tesla on Aster? And we haven't done that yet, so we can't tell you how, but if it's there, I mean, maybe, is it just an Oracle price, or does it take you to a trading screen?
No, this is a future. You're not buying the actual hard stock. At least I don't think you.
Right. That's what I meant. But, yeah. And Pedro, did you happen to use the link I sent you to sign up? Because I think you get different options if you're signed in or not. Like you don't get the trade trading features unless you're signed in. We'll have that worked out for tomorrow or the next day.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll walk with it. But it's actually pretty cool. Here we go. Here right now is Apple. You can trade Apple here, which I thought was really interesting. The cool thing behind it is this. I actually thought it was 24/7, but I was actually wrong. The price is wrong, Bob. But But the cool thing behind it though is that it's a future that you can actually trade, and it's more of a crypto-centric future for Apple and a lot of these other things. So I'm actually kind of excited about that. We'll be able to simply just like, all right, guys, this is where we're going to be putting our, like if it comes down to these lower levels here, right? Put on a 2x, boom, we want to catch it from here to here. First, our first entry is going to be here. Stop is right here. So that's going to be fun. I really am looking forward to that as we really start to play with this. The thing that I'm also looking forward to is what else are they going to do? CZ made it very clear. He loves DeFi. He didn't fully understand it, which I thought was kind of silly for him to say, but it must have been true.
Right.
I thought it was almost like a play, but because sometimes he can be, very secretive in his words, almost what's that? Caustic? No, not caustic. Caught it? Nope. Whatever. It slipped. But it's just one of those things I just think is really cool that as he keeps developing this, what else is he going to bring onto this? They took Binance US from him, and now I almost feel like this is his way of saying, all right, well, you may be able to take that one, but this one you're not going to be able to take because it's a DeFi system. So it's not centralized, even though he's investing into it. It's ran by the people for the people. So it's going to be really interesting to see how this moves. How are they going to fully do it? And I'm kind of excited.
Patrick says, I got 750 USD ready to buy some Aster. Show me the levels.
Alrighty, let's check her out. As I'm doing this, we need like music. As I'm like, so it's like.
I'm actually playing the yeah music, but you just can't hear it. I didn't feed it to you.
Oh, good. Okay, good then. All right, so I'm looking realistically down at these lower levels of that 130, 125 area. This is really where I would expect it to really come down to and play. Now, if it falls through that, then that next real level is all the way down around this level here. Which is going to be around that 75-cent area. So it's going to be a big fall if we go below this, but it's really, I'm looking at that 129, 125 area for myself to play. And again, please do your own research. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm telling you what I'm looking at. And in that same sense, this is where I'm looking to pick up some Aster, which is going to be around that 137, 129 area here, or 125-ish. Then after that, honestly, the next level is going to be roughly around here. And let's pull up the daily candle here. So yes, that next level is going to be set right here on the 80, 75-cent area here. And it is looking pretty hot. So these are the ones that I'm really looking for, as in levels. And then we'll see from there what it wants to do. But that's what I'm looking at. Let me.
Patrick says he's going to short it to that level. Let us know. We haven't traded on it yet, Patrick. How about being our guinea pig for your $750 here and let us know how it goes?
That seems. I'd
like to know. I'd like to know how the ease of use.
I'm also asking you to be wise, and I wouldn't put all 700 up into it, playing the short. Be smart. Remember, if you're going to throw in some money, you want to make sure you throw that money in at the right pullbacks, making sure that you have an excessive amount of volume coming in. You don't want to be in a trade where you start to see volume pull out. Now, me and you are trained by the same guy, so make sure you plan things out, right? Understand the full nuance of Aster. Go to their website, read through their website, which is what we're going to go check out here next. But it's really important that you guys do that, right? Understand first before you jump in. Don't get overly excited. Just make sure you're paying attention. Oh no. Did you guys just lose me?
No, first you're here.
All right, my thing just shot down, so it's weird. Okay. Excellent, excellent, excellent. So that's it in a nutshell for Aster. I like those levels right there. I think they're good. Right there. We got 23 viewers watching us. Actually, we got 10 viewers watching us. So thank you all you for watching us. Appreciate every one of you.
Quite the
you guys could do it real quick. Who is Nature Cam? Like and follow you. So that's cool. Is that anybody?
Thanks for watching us, Nature Cam. Really appreciate it. I hope that means that's not cams of people out in nature in their birthday suits, but
whatever it is. I'm not judging you, but just thank you.
I'm just trying to get them to respond.
And if you have any questions, please ask. We love interacting with new people, especially my style of trading is unorthodox compared to most traders. So it can be a bit kind of confusing. And I pretty much just use moving averages, supply and demand wicks, and liquidity areas. Okay. And so those areas and moving averages. And so they play basically as a ping pong system. The way I look at the market is the market goes from liquidity to liquidity, which means that it will go, let's say you have 2 liquidity points and prices right here. Okay. It will go up, tap the liquidity, and then it will come back down, tap this liquidity, erase the liquidity, and then most likely go in the direction that it wants. And so I talk about that a lot, of almost like ping pong effects, how to capture the movements. Before it goes up, we'll see it go down. Before it goes down, it will first go up. It's typically how I look at the market, and in doing that, it helps you be able to see the market correctly, and so that you almost either capture, like as Patrick is doing right now, he's going to capture the short down before we go up, right? So that's what I'm looking at right now. And again, for Aster, it's a new product, so there's not a lot of data on it per se, but you do have zones and you do have liquidity zones. So those liquidity zones will act as areas for you to be able for them.
Look at that chart. It's awesome.
Here's the thing. It literally started off at 10 cents, which is kind of crazy when you think about it. It just went boom, came down, and then went back up. So I find it really interesting, its movement and how it's moving as well. And it's moving well. It goes up, pulls back. It's just not like straight up, which is always kind of nerve-wracking. Imagine being here, seeing it, right? And then saying like, is this really real, right? And then because it goes from 10 cents to 40 cents, and the volume, you just see the volume just start to pick up. Boom, sell off. Boom, sell off. And like that's a good volume. Like it's just boom, boom, right? So we could see it come back down. And this is the other part, I forgot to mention this. We could see it also play right here because you do have a high right here. So that 190, 180 area could also act a support area. I don't think it will. I think we'll come down.
Got to move that a little bit there, Pedro. There we go.
Is that better? That 190 right here, you can see because this was a previous top, right? And so this could act as support, right, for this area. So this also might find, but the fact that we're below it is one of those things that just kind of makes me think that it's going to go higher in all reality. 3 hours. I'm never used to 3 hours.
All right, Pedro, I think it's time to earn a little money here.
There we go. Awesome. Awesome. Go ahead, my friend.
All right, let's see here. Thank you to the folks at Rumble for letting us participate in their creator program. And that allows me to read you guys' ads. How about that? Let's see here. I think it's dun 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Hey, football fanatics, are you ready for some prime time NFL? Well, that's right, ladies and gentlemen. It is that time of the year for sure. Tune into Westwood One for all the gridiron glory you crave, from jaw-dropping touchdowns to game-changing plays. Don't miss a moment of the excitement. Nope. No. Catch every step, every tackle, and every victory on Westwood One. You can listen to the NFL on the NFL app, on the Westwood One Sports app, on the WestwoodOneSports.com via Westwood One station streams or by Alexa to just ask Alexa to open Westwood One Sports. If it's the NFL, it's on Westwood One. Thank you to Westwood One Sports for sponsoring this segment. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, next to me, there's a QR code here. If you're watching on Rumble, if you're watching on another platform, there's a link down in the body below. And if you're also in your chat on Rumble, there is a Learn More. If you're watching on your big screen TV, hold your phone up, click that QR code, and show our advertisers that you guys are interested in the products that appear on our show. It helps Pedro and I greatly, greatly, greatly. I ran out of words to say. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thanks to Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One app for sponsoring this segment of DYOR Live. Going slow. There we go. Completed. Look at that. We are somebody today.
I know, right? There we go.
Look, I even modified the old. I'm in another temporary studio. Don't have my full software and all that, and that's why the late start, because I didn't have it set up right. But anyway, got Pedro on one screen over here. Got his chart on the other one here. And I've got other screens in the back there that we're going to put other info on stuff when I have a better computer. Meaning back in Ottawa. Thought I'd change it up a little bit. Also, it's the end of the month here. We got Pedro only 5 days left. We need to do some premium action. So maybe today we do like the last half hour of the show, we go premium in order to just at least knock out some time there.
Yeah, we're going to have to. It's going to be fun, though. Y'all come on over and hang out with us. It shan't be fun.
If you are not a Rumble Premium member, then you can't join us in Premium. And soon, I know I've been saying this for effing long time, but I've been really busy with other crap. Other stuff. But we will be eventually changing up the program here when we introduce our app. I've been working on that again. We're going to have Pedro and I's calls. Not calls. I don't know. What's the best way to say it, Pedro? Just the trades we're looking for the market to move into, as they say?
Yeah, that's a good way of just saying what we're looking at. I'll just say, hey, these are my picks for the morning. This is what I'm looking at to take part in and see if we can take advantage of this market as it's moving. That's really what it is, right? I'm not sitting there like preaching it like as if this is going to be 100% wins or whatever, but it's enough to where show you how to trade so you can play here and be able to make money. That's my goal, right? Kind of like how Crypto Lifer is, where you just kind of, here you guys go. Look, this is where you need to go long. This is where your stop is at. We should see at least go from here to here, and then you make your money. And then from there, you decide what you want to do. And so that's where we're going to really just kind of post and let people play and have fun.
Oui. As they say in Quebec, oui.
Oui. Oui. That's interesting because every time I think about
well, anyway, Patrick, I assume you're still listening there. Let us know how oh wait, I see you just my great comment machine just caught up with me here. I'll short $5 and put 10x leverage. Crypto Mike says, you don't want to see my birthday suit. Looked better new. That's good. Patrick says the support area at $1.80. I think we're going to run all those people who have the stops. Then we can rip higher.
Absolutely. That's absolutely what I'm thinking. But again, I want to sit there. If you're asking me how far we'll see it go, I think we're going to go down further. So I see that point of that $1.80. Absolutely. And he's speaking of this right here, this liquidity point right here. But here's the problem with that. At least I look at it. When you look at the wicks, if you calculate the wicks on it, we start at that 1 hour mark. Those wicks here is kind of like a low area right here, right? And so this starts at 11 o'clock, and you'll see you understand what I mean by 11 o'clock coming down, and then we end right here, right? And so that, or not 14, it'd be 13. So 11, 12, 1, 2. So yeah, so we end here. But that area here is, again, this area you have a wick right here, so it's a doubled wick, right? And so when you look, if you look at that, it's not necessarily a full wall. So that's all I'm saying. Hey, at least maybe what I can sit there and see, right? And let me make sure I have it correct. Boom. What is the timing, setting, period, status? Go ahead and make sure. Los Angeles. So we're gonna do, if it's Los Angeles time, then that would be 8 o'clock. So yeah, here you go. So open here, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Right? So you understand what that means. So it's a body. And then again, it closes and we start that new one right here at 13, goes up. And then it closes right here, right? 13. This is the 13, 14, 15, 16. Right? Bodied. 1, 2, 3, 4, 20. And then you have 1. So I guess you do have a wick right here. So from this low area right here, you have a wick to wick, right? So you would have 2 wicks. You would have a 2-hour wick, which again gives you 2 2-hour wicks, which would give you 1 4-wick. But because of separation there, you'll see that you actually have 2 wicks. Smaller wick, which is going to be the first one nearest price, and then the second wick sitting right here on that 2-hour. So it's important to understand visualizing it. And so most likely you really don't have real demand here. You just have liquidity at these levels here for Pat. And Pat would understand what I'm saying here. So make sure, maybe that's at least that's what I've looked at. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's why I'm kind of expecting it. And you can see here, we opened up right here at liquidity. We're going up first, and then most likely go down. And again, this is an 11 o'clock or East Coast time, so it'd be 8. So your 8 o'clock candles right here, right? Boom. You saw it go up, 9, 10, right? So that's one of those things. I guess it's coming down first. Boom, we could see it come back up. But if we're in
Patrick says, did we just gap?
No, that is not a gap. So that's just because of the lack of data that they have here. When you go to their actual page here and look at the futures, you'll see here on Aster, forgive me, my people. I don't know why I keep doing that. It's like the most frustrating thing. Come on.
Oh, Alice.
Oh, Alice. Stocks. Commodities. Oh, bro, this is the other one. They actually have gold. They have PAX G, which is the dopest thing, bro. Like, PAX G has been slamming up, bro. Anyways.
It has.
Boom. Where are you, Aster? That's weird. Did they take it off? I don't think that's...
They couldn't have taken it off while you're doing it.
Yeah. Mike, something's going on here. High perpetuals. Come on. Boom. Here we are. There we go. We'll go right here to the hour. So you can see here, and I just want to make sure, what time is it now? 10:10. That's East Coast. So you can see here, you have your 8-hour candle here, right? We went up, created that wick for the 8, came back down, sold off below here, right? You can see how it sold off. Now, the part that I want to point out here is there's not a wick, but I don't understand why it keeps. Oh, that's because I'm not logged in. I don't want to log in right now because I can't hide that my wallet, and I want to hide my wallet because I don't want nobody to know my wallets. That's it. Let's do this here. Volume. Okay. And here we go. Let's go ahead and put this here. Again, if you guys want to go sign up underneath the link in our section here, and you guys will be able to have fun there with it.
Yeah, check that the link is there. I changed it. You might need to refresh your page if you joined the stream prior to me updating the link. But it's definitely in the description of the show now. Ugh. Pedro, on a side note, Rumble, one of the things that we had issues with was our Rumble studio this morning, and Rumble's suffering, and it's not a bad thing. They're actually something like 2 million or 2 or 3 million new app downloads in the past, basically 2 weeks or so. And so they're having a little growing pains, and it does affect us now and then. But when we first started with Rumble, it also affected us. Because they were growing then too, but then they, about a week later, they scaled up, got everything going just fine, and I think that they're just going through those growing pains again right now.
Yeah. Let me see here real quick. I'm calculating this. I'm going to do the 1 hour. For whatever reason, I can't balance out the volume on this. For whatever reason, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Again, it's not perfect. There's still a lot of things that they need to work on and kind of work out. But like ultimately, one thing I do like about it is the adjustable charts here. So you can actually go through and adjust it. You can actually see the liquidity river here, what's actually happening here. So I can go through and change that. That's one thing, but that's normal for most of these. You can actually, but I like using this to be able to gauge where the liquidity is sitting fully. Right, like
what?
Right
one
here.
of the things I noticed on the Aster website, though, is that talking about having the ability to have your order be private and not show up in the thing, which I think is, on one hand, I think is fine. But that's not how it works in the U.S. as far as the rules. I mean, the order book has to be open to everybody to view, and there's a lot of apps that play on that data, that work with that data, and having that secret probably is not going to work with the current rules in the U.S. And other jurisdictions because, frankly, they want to be able to ensure a fair playing field for retail investors. But they show on the chart, they show where the liquidity is, right, Pedro? Is that what where the orders are?
Yeah, well, this is what I do. So I'm always looking to see what price points that where we're really seeing liquidity at. So when you see these levels here, okay, these are the stops, right? And what I'm always looking to see is when I see they connect with buyers and sellers at certain levels, right? Like I see like at this level here, see how it just dropped there, right? At that 181, right? I'm always looking to see what's actually happening. So as price comes up into it, and I'm looking at this level here. So let's say like right now we know that the real liquidity on the chart is right here, right? That's that 129 and the 181 right now that we're sitting at. Right, in detail. So we know that's where it's sitting because there's a lot of stops sitting here. So if it's going to revert there, I want to see buyers step in dramatically, and I want to see this thing kick in real time, okay, as it enters into that level at a strong rate. Now, granted, I'm at 0.1, But you can see here, right, that 180 when you go into more details, 180, 132, right? And so as we enter, I can see when price is really stepping in and they're really coming in strong, and you're going to see it right here. Then the other part, oh, where's it at? Oh. Don't tell me I accidentally got rid of it. I don't think so. Orders, history, nope. Oh, I know why. Because I actually have to be, in my other one, I'm logged in, and that's why. So then, in addition to that, they have in that, they have actual buy orders. You can actually see them come in, buy and sell. I don't know why this one's not wanting to work now.
I don't know.
Maybe I'm taxing my PC too much. But long story short, when you get in, you'll start to see the time. As you log in, you'll see the time and sale. And so I will correlate on the chart an area where buyers or sellers are sitting, meaning like where liquidity is, where they're going to stop people, where they're going to do a stop run. And then and I can't.
Yes.
No.
Your thoughts, sir? A penny for your thoughts, my dear. Anyone can pick out what song I just quoted. A penny for your thoughts, my dear. Then you too are a musical genius.
I don't know why.
That just reminded me. Ladies and gentlemen, sexual chocolate.
Come on, can you? And you guys can't see my chart, right? It's like behind us. That works. Okay, there we go. All right. And you're not gonna let me move you around? There's something that I did wrong. I don't know what it is that I did. I just did something that isn't. Let's try this. Nope, that's not working. Let me try this here now. Maybe if I reset it.
Oh,
there we are.
Good Lord.
Okay.
I can't mute that either. Oh, why is my mute not working? I guess it's a built-in. Sorry, everybody, for the noise here, but
sometimes just picking her up and holding her will get her to chill out, right?
yeah, someone came in the garage, and so she senses somebody is home.
Where's my 2 hour? Did they 120? Nope. All right. So, long story short, what I'll do is I will correlate where there are liquidity and where there is a higher time frame moving average. So, and then if I'm going to short this, right, or go long in an area because it's in liquidity, I will see on this level here a huge increase of volume stepping in with the time and sales, which I typically will have right here. So I'm looking at this, right? I scrunch this up. I have my, come on. You're not going to be cool.
Patrick says, what's the link between SBF and CZ in this token? I don't think there's the only link between SBF is prison, right? That they were both at one point in prison?
Well, kinda. So the day that this really launched and got going, right, and he came out and talked about it, was the same day that, well, SBF literally came out and said, "Good morning," right? Like from prison. So I think there is a correlation because, you know, there's talks in crypto that's basically saying that he might be looking to get Sam Bink SBF out of prison, even though the actions that CZ did is what put him in prison.
That I got to tell you, that's not going to happen.
Well, how many times have you said that?
That
and it has.
Well, sometimes it doesn't work, but I mean, there's a difference between some of these people that get pardons and things like that. But SBF, they were, I mean, the SEC and CFTC will protest that forever. And I mean, he was an actual criminal. I mean, he wasn't one of these guys kind of regulation by enforcement stuff. SBF was like an actual criminal, stealing people's money and losing it, like just like the Ponzi schemes. And you know, he doesn't deserve to get out of jail. If he does, well, I'll have to eat my shoe again.
Yeah. But like on the back end though, looking at this market, I see it coming down further because I'm not watching volume step in and kick it. And then also we want to look at Bitcoin. Is Bitcoin selling off? And we want to see if it is selling off, then it's selling off. So we were just talking about this here. Bitcoin is dropping off, so most likely this is going to drop off as well. Good volume. Wow, we're already down from 110. Here we are. We're coming down to that 107 area here, and we're seeing volume pick up here. So we're not at a liquidity area right now. So most likely,
wow, look at that.
Back. Yeah. So this is going to take precedence over Aster, and I would expect presidents over Aster, simply because when you're looking at the market, and I'm not saying Aster isn't a tough cookie, but I think it is still one of those ones that is going to follow what Bitcoin is doing. We're already watching it happen.
Pedro, let's do ourselves a favor here and take a quick break, take a 3-minute break, do what we need to do to put things back in our body and take things out. And then when we come back, let's do a quick market overview with Bitcoin, NASDAQ, and stuff, because apparently things are moving right now. So everybody, if you could stick by with us for a couple of minutes, we'd appreciate it. Pedro and I will be right back. All right, our Check, audio check.
Are we live? Are we good?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to DYOR Live here on the DYOR Media Network. My name is Tom, otherwise known as Striking here in the digital media world. The man in the box next to me is Mr. Pedro Garcia, the crypto analyst. It's the top of the hour, 2 p.m. here on the East Coast, Eastern Time. Watching, as I said, DYOR Live. September 25th, 2025. Pedro and I have been talking about CZ and Aster today. And while we were talking about that, Bitcoin and other things decided to really take a tank. So we're going to take some time to go over the market in general here. Pedro, what's going on in the market today? There's some new numbers out.
We actually saw existing home sales today actually beat normal sales. Also, we saw the initial jobless claims. So these are jobless claims coming out. And we actually saw that it was lower than they expected it. And so again, which I know it sounds weird, but if it's lower than expected, that's a good thing, right? So there's a lot of good news actually coming out. The core PCE, right? Price, I think this is basically just, what is PCE? Why is my brain blanking?
It's how much people are buying.
Yeah.
And the cost of what they're buying. So,
yes.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying though is in durable goods, like we're watching it actually go up. So there is a need for it where last few weeks we've actually seen, our last few months, we've actually seen it kind of drop off. So we're watching it actually pick up here. So we should expect, right, as I always say, if we have good news in the news, what should we expect the market to do?
No, we should expect it to go up.
No. Not, I said what I say it's going to do, not what it should do.
Oh. What you always tell me is, show me the chart, I'll show you the news.
If we have good news coming out, then we should see the market drop. If we have bad news coming out, we should see the market go up because they are finding liquidity, is what I'm saying. And you can see here, that's exactly what we're seeing today. Good news all around, but you can see that the market did sell off here for the S&P 500, which is interesting. Now, obviously, there's more to it. I mean, we're on the brinks of World War III right now with China and with Russia, what's actually happening and how they keep buying, how India keeps buying oil from Russia. And so things are breaking, things are starting to really escalate in that sense. Also, we're watching Iran talking about they're not going to be giving up their nukes. They do have it. They have a lot of enriched uranium. And they're just at a point where they're just being very, they're saying we're not going to get rid of it. Kim Jong-un made it very clear. We know what you do to countries that go out and basically tell them they can no longer have nukes, because then you emasculate them and you basically come in there and try to overtake them. So that's his ploy. So there's a lot of stuff kind of going on right now,
which has never actually happened ever.
Yeah, but he likes to talk. So you can see here that the NASDAQ as well is selling off. So you can see here real quick the NQ swing. So it's coming down to this liquidity area right here, and that should be.
So we're seeing a wholesale market dump. But as far as what you said about the numbers, no real over the top bad news. Just what's expected, or
it's just it was actually better than good. We're seeing everything sell off, so it's really interesting to see. Wow, BTC is taking a dump. Look at it. Yes, dude. I'm expecting some splashback over here. Look at that dump, bro. Oh man, that thing is.
Oh, and I am not in the market at all. The past couple of days that Tommy, in case you haven't known, I was had some we'll just call them in real life issues that I wasn't able to broadcast well, and I had to do some other things that didn't allow me to keep my eyeball on the market. So I have not been in the market really for the past 2 weeks at all. Pedro and I had a discussion about this a while ago, and I when you're in the market every day, you have a feel for the market, how it's going. Like, oh, I missed that trade. You can go right to it on the chart because you know where everything is. And now I'm looking at the chart. I'm looking like, wow, I don't know jack shit what's going on right now. But I do know that is the biggest. No, it's not the biggest red candle on the chart, but it's big.
Yeah, that is definitely what she's.
More liquidations. I guess it was an easy liquidity grab a couple of days ago. The market makers took everyone's liquidity on the long side, dropped the price massively in 45 minutes, and they said, "Well, that worked last week. Let's see if we can do it again this week, but add the S&P and Nasdaq into it too," and it worked.
I gotta find out why the S&P, why is everything selling off? European diplomats say NATO will shoot down Russian planes if they keep violating airspace.
Yeah, they did it again, like the third time in the past 2 or 3 days.
Yeah, they just straight came out and said, Russia foreign minister says NATO has basically declared war on Russia. Okay, that's why.
I love how the Russians spin things. It's just, it's like they actually think people believe them.
Yeah, but there's almost a want for a fight, because if they can throw the world back into another world war, well, there will be new lines drawn.
But they don't understand. I'm not going to get into it, but it's their military. They're rolling out their 1950s era tanks right now because they're out of equipment. And
we were talking about that.
And their planes are so old and decrepit. Even their new Su-57 Felon, it's more like SBF as a felon than John Dillinger or something like that. We literally blot him out of the sky. Guys shoot him out of the sky from the ground with like old air missiles, not even the newest stuff. It's just like, oh, there it is. Poof. It's just the whole of NATO acts as one. Acts as one. The U.S. military, all the European militaries, through NATO, they act as one. It's called Joint Command, and it's called Joint Operations. And they have, one target, one sensor, one target, one shot. It doesn't matter where it comes from. The U.S. AWACS can see it, and they can say, there's the target, and a Czech Republic plane is nearby, and bang, it hits it. And the Russians have no joint operations. Everyone's their own little fiefdom in Russia, and you can see it. Their tactics in Ukraine, it's. I don't know what Putin's strategy is, but hopefully it's just like we can't believe it, and he's actually just doing stupid things, and it's not some evil plan that he's at stage, A of Z, and he's like, they're falling into my evil trap right now. So it's just maddening.
Yeah. So I would
maddening. Welcome everybody that's watching us. Really appreciate you spending the time, especially when Pedro and I go off on political tangents like that. But that's what's driving the markets. Well, it's one of the things driving the market, so it's worth it to talk about for sure.
So one of the things we want to do pay attention to is that 8-period moving average coming on. This is actually, I believe, on the hour chart. So let me go ahead. Let's redo that here real quick. As it's playing off of this hour chart, what I'm looking for is a come on, why is that doing that? I don't understand now. We want to see if it's going to go up. We want to see it close above with good volume, is what we want to see, is that 8-period moving average. We're going up first thing at the top of the hour, so that's not a good sign. Typically that means we're going to come up, tap, create the seller wick, and then see it pull back. I would expect to see it kind of pull back into that 190 area as we're coming up here. And let's see here real quick. Yeah.
Patrick's like, I'm down $10 already. Why won't it sell off harder? Right. Damn, Pedro, you're right again.
Pull back into a higher time frame. Right? And also don't go all in. You know, you want to be smart. It's all about risk management, right? Wait for it to communicate to you that it wants to sell off, right? We're seeing it go up first. We're looking at the 15, 30 minute. It's going to first put in that 30-minute candle. You can see we have a small demand wick here, right? And so it's going up first. Where's the trending moving average? Right here. And I can't get the 2-hour on this because I'm not logged in. But let me see if I can pull it up on this other one here where I'm logged in. And see if it will give it to me.
Bitcoin trading at 108,000, a big drop off today, down 4%. Solana down 10% today at 194. Cardano down 8% at 75 cents. BNB down only 6% at $958. Big moves today, that's for sure.
Definitely. Oh, because it's in perpetuals, my bad.
And what is today? Today is Thursday, isn't it? It's Thursday. We're coming to the end of the month. Which the end of the month does affect Bitcoin because of the Chicago Mercantile Exchange and Robinhood actual monthly contracts. The other things, it doesn't hurt so much because they don't trade on. People don't flip things over, but still, NASDAQ, S&P 500, and Bitcoin are driving the markets down, which is fine. As Pedro and I talk about here all the time. You know, we're in it to win it here with day trading, and day traders need volatility. And as you guys watch Pedro draw his charts, he's always drawing lines down below saying, I'm going to get in down here. And, you know, even people like me for a long time were like, nah, it's not going back down there. And then usually within 2 months of me saying that, they went back down there and grabbed his levels. A good example is Crow. It was cheap. It came down, and Pedro's like, I can't believe Crow's that cheap. It hit all the orders that he wanted to have.
But tell the whole story though. It was up at $20. It was up at 20 cents at the time. Right? It was up at 20 cents.
And you're like, it's going to come down to 5 cents. I'm like, hey, it's not coming down to 5 cents. Boom, 5 cents. But that's how the market works, and we're happy that it does it. We're happy that there's good buying and selling. Obviously, you spot traders out there or spot holders, down is doom because you may be underwater or something like that. But with Bitcoin, you know, for sure, there's always the DCA type things. But, you know, with the right trading strategies, you can buy low and sell high. You just got to wait. Wait for Pedro to say, it's going to come down to this level. Just hold on. And it does.
I just don't understand. I am connected here. I don't understand why it's not showing my wallet. It's like so. Like I said, they're still working out the details. I can't get my 2-hour chart here on their system. And now it is not connecting.
All right, Pedro, I'm going to take this, while you're working on that, I'm going to take this opportunity to see what we have available here in the, oh, look at that. Oh, wait, that one's pretty, let's find a better paying one. Oh, no more sports ones. Those are the best ones. Let's go. with ding, 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 pickaxe, ladies and gentlemen. A pickaxe. Gotta get my voice on here.
That just doesn't matter anymore.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. If you're done letting big tech dictate what you see via their algorithms, you need to check out Pickaxe. This is the anti-algorithm, anti-censorship platform built for creators. No algorithmically manipulated feeds, no data harvesting, and zero tolerance for gatekeeping. Real voices are already building there. The Vigilant Fox, Children's Health Defense, Naomi Wolf, Ann Vandersteel, Shannon Joy, SGT Report, Red Pill 78, they're all on Pickaxe. You can write articles, auto-publish your Rumble videos, which are playable in the newsfeed, and soon you'll be able to blast out full email newsletters to your followers. Monetize how you want, paywalls, affiliate links, revenue sharing, it's all built in. And you know what? Free verification with a blue check, referral perks, total control. If you're serious about declaring your independence from big tech and experience true freedom of speech and freedom of reach, this is the platform. Check it out at pickaxe.com and set up your account today. Ladies and gentlemen, right next to me, there's a QR code here. If you're watching on the big screen TV, hold your phone up right there and click. Go visit our advertisers. Pickaxe isn't even asking for your money. They're just asking for your eyeballs. That's right. You know, Pedro, I'm going to get us on Pickaxe. See if we can get any extra views for the show here.
Love it.
And check out the, as they call it, freedom of speech and freedom of reach. That's right. Anyway, thanks to pickaxe.com for sponsoring this segment of DYOR Live.
Absolutely. So if I'm looking for a pullback up into this level here, where you see this red area is. It's really where I'm looking for it. So I want to get in as it pulls back up into this area. You have an SMA. You have your 2-hour SMA sitting roughly above us. And if Patty, if you can see what's actually happening, right, you could see where you would see that 2-hour moving average would be sitting, right, where the 8 is. And you would see it would be more right here, where it would be under that influence, right? That, and we could see where the 20 period on the hour is. Now, also to point out, you're seeing the 8 and the 89 starting to flow, right? So it means that you're starting to see a break of the 4-hour 8, right? Or the 4-hour 20, right? And we're coming up to another 4-hour period. And so if we close below that 20 on the 4-hour, which means we're closing on the 8-hour, right? We were talking about that yesterday, and you mentioned it, right? This would be the 8-hour, the 4-hour. So that's why I'm saying if we close below this area, right in this here, right in this area. And again, the reason I'm bringing that up, because if you look at the hour, we're going up first on the hour, right? Boom, hour, push up, and then goes down. So that's why I'm bearish on this, or I'm short-term bearish on Aster down to these those lower areas here. You're still working this out. Oh, it's so frustrating.
Well, it would make sense that with the gains that people have in there would be natural sells for people to take some profits, and not have it just go. When you had that daily chart up, it's just looking like a rocket ship going up. But it totally makes sense that people put some money in their pockets and that. But although I have to say, you got to keep an eye out on Twitter or on X and so forth for. Tweets. You got to add CZ to your Donald Trump list and Michael Saylor list of things you got to pay attention to, because if CZ tweets about it, I have to imagine that the market will react from a fundamental perspective and could possibly stop you out if you're planning on going the other direction.
Absolutely. Wow, that thing went up. I'm not talking about this. I'm talking about something else. I'm going up. I'm in a short, and I didn't realize that. I just refreshed my thing, and I was like, wow, that thing went up.
You know, Patrick says he doesn't have the 2-hour chart either. They may not have the 2-hour chart.
They had it yesterday.
Oh.
They had it yesterday. I literally took a screenshot. Anyways, next. So you can gauge, though, where that 8 period would be hitting right here. And so as a trader, if I'm looking at this, that 2-hour would be roughly around here. So we want to see it if it closes below that 20 period on this 4-hour period, which, because the hours are off, right? And if the hours are off a little, this will most likely be sitting, like most likely right here is where we're seeing, right? So we've pierced that 20 period, and I would expect to see us then the next crossover on that 4-hour into the 2-hour. You would expect it to go up first, then down, and that's what we're seeing right now, because this is the second part of this move, because this is at the 11 o'clock, which is 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Second half of the 4-hour, or the first half of the 2-hour chart, right? So it's going up first to go down. And if you look back right here, you'll see again, you have a 12 and 1 hour, which is, this is your 8 sitting right here. Excuse me, you have your 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, right? So it ends here. Then you have another, so you have one big candle with the wick, another wick right here that starts. I was just going over this with you, but I just want to reiterate this. New candle. So you have one big wick and then a smaller wick here. That's 1, 2. Then this closes below where it would be establishing orders. And you can see here, all there is now absorption of orders. So then the second half, or the new 2-hour candle, or the second half of the 4-hour candle, is now creating it to go up. So this is the first, because everything's sequential. So you have your 1 hour of the first 2-hour, plus you have the hour, which is going directly up. And then, so it's going to most likely finish off. The next part of this next area is to go down, is what we should see in this play. And then from there, continue down to where I expect it to go. But that's what I'm looking at. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. And, but that's what I would expect to happen. Basically, look at this right here. This is basically what I'm talking about. Boom, come up, came up, boom. This is the second part of the hour. And then here, this was the 8-hour wick here. You can see, right? So this is the similar situation. It's a little bit off, but a similar situation. All right, let's check out here real quick. Man,
as a reminder, everybody out there watching us, we're an interactive show. If you get a question, Patrick was asking questions about Aster and shorting it. We're going over the markets in general. If you got a question, let us know. Let us know. If you're not signed into Rumble, please sign in, and then you can hit the like button, and you can hit the repost button, and you can also hit the, or you can also drop a comment here for us.
So Russia says a war with NATO will break out if NATO shoots down Russia aircraft. There's the dead cats.
The dying cats, ladies and gentlemen. I have to say, what could Russia do? What are they going to do? Invade Cuba or something? Or send a ship to Venezuela and say, look, we've got a ship in Venezuela? I mean, there's... I would even bet that the Special Forces of the United States and the United States Navy has a plan to eliminate every one of Russia's nuclear weapons within 5 minutes. It's just, There has to be that plan to do that. And I don't mean with nuclear weapons. I just mean they've probably bribed half the location guys, said you can come to live in Montana. And the submarines will all just disappear. It's more than certain that every foreign submarine's got a drone attached to the back of it, and they don't know it. It's just going to blow it up. I don't see how. It boggles the mind when you understand the power of the United States plus NATO's military. How anything other than Mr. Putin going to an early grave, just what happened. I get sidetracked again. But for sure, Pedro, it'll create liquidity volatility in the market. The VIX will go crazy. Day traders, half the day traders will be getting fat, and the other half will be getting thin.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy. Here we go. So this is a good example. So this would be the 2-hour area. This is what I'm talking about. So you can see here, right, that 2-hour, again, the candles are 1 hour behind, but you can primarily see where the 8 is sitting, right? And here is, again, mind you, this is where the actual real candle is sitting. It's right here. Boom. Right, so like, if you go to that 2-hour, this is kind of where this is sitting. So we could see it pulling back. So here's your 8, or here's your 8 o'clock, right? And the reason why this is 11, because this is for 2 o'clock right now. So I need it at 11. And then you'd be able to see, like, we have the next candle. So you do have 1, 2, where is the liquidity setting? Somewhere in this area here. Honestly, the real liquidity is most likely sitting right here at that 216 area. Potentially could rally all the way back up to that 216 area, honestly, because the majority of the liquidity is sitting right here. So they would come up, push it back up to here, stop everybody else out, bring it back down, which is roughly where that 8 period, or the 4-hour 248 is sitting. So this is just, you can see here, but I just don't think it's going to happen. I think they're going to close it below the 8 and can keep continuing it down, especially with what's happening with the stock market. Everything's selling off like crazy. S&P is literally, or the S&P futures is sitting at 65.50, 65.40 right now. And on the 2-hour chart, you can sit there and see that it's looking to be dropping again. So if we see this moving down, that means that the NASDAQ is most likely also dropping off, pulling back, which means then what is gold doing? Then gold should be pumping, which it is actually selling off. Really interesting. Boom. So the world's not freaking out about that. I mean,
no, I just brought up my screen from Decrypt.
Gold is not. I'm sorry, gold is moving up. My bad, I was wrong. Gold started selling off. So I clicked on copper. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I have an article up here. Bitcoin, Ethereum, Dogecoin dive as crypto liquidations near $1 billion. $1 billion in liquidated longs. People getting a little too optimistic about Bitcoin. And crypto in general. If you had been listening to Pedro, you might not have taken that risk, because we've been calling it down in the 90s. So this looks like this is the first step to it, heading down into the 90s. There is lots of liquidity way down in the 90s. Pedro's been talking about it for a long time. I haven't run Bookmap in about 2 weeks, so I can't see what the Bookmap liquidations or liquidity is looking at. But you can see people were optimistic if they've cleared out $1 billion in retail, and in mostly retail, I would have to imagine, because institutions knew this was coming and got out of it. But that's a lot, as they say, and as they major digital coins, including Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Doge, plunged today. Bitcoin down 4%, like I was saying earlier, and that was earlier. It's down 5% now. What else? What else did they list here? Solana hit hard. Solana was moving up a lot. CoinGlass data shows that over 930 million in traders' positions betting on the future prices have been liquidated. The vast number of that, over 860 million, were long positions. Of course they were.
Down jets. So Europe privately tells Russia they're ready to down jets. It's looking like they are escalating.
Patrick says, I'm supposed to be on vacation. Here I am trading from my phone.
Like, why? Why? America is going to start producing.
Well, the Russians have been testing us for a long time with their overflights, and we've had enough of it. Every time they do it, we have to scramble fighters. We waste jet fuel. We do all this type of stuff. They say, oh, we're just flying from here to there, and then they don't do anything. Mostly, they do have a lot of problems with their pilots that are not well trained. Even just from flying, Russia has that little enclave of Russia in Europe between Poland and Estonia, or wherever it is, and they have regular flights back and forth, and the pilots. They just don't even listen to the EU. They just fly mostly the direction they want. They just point their plane and go. Either the civilian flights or the military cargo flights or the military planes going back and forth. And Europe's getting tired of it. They're just getting, they're like, you guys got to stop doing that. And Russia's like, okay, whatever. And so finally, this has to come to the point where they're like, now they send drones into Poland. They can only be doing things like testing our resolve. And our resolve is getting thin.
Yeah, same thing it's the same move with China and Taiwan, right? Is really where.
Yeah, that's also a good point. I mean, China and Putin and crew could be in cahoots. Let's create a diversion. Russia, you mess with NATO over there. Meanwhile, we're gonna, sneak into Taiwan over here. Although I think that's, there's a lot of people saying that. Z said they wanted that to happen, be ready by 2027 to do that. That doesn't mean it's going to happen in 2027.
But she made it very clear that.
Right, go ahead.
She's made it very clear that he's no longer going to be buying the NVIDIA chips. He's like, we're done with that. And his only real option then is literally to go and take over Taiwan. Because it's going to take him 5 years to really get a manufacturing plant to really be at that level, and to create real chips that will allow it. I mean, they have all the material, so it's not like they're not going to be able to. I think, the Chinese people are brilliant. They are I think China is the third smartest group of people.
Yeah, they all go to Harvard, Yale, Princeton, University of Illinois, University of Michigan. I mean, it's most of the students there are. No, I shouldn't say most, but a big portion.
A large majority. Yeah, a large majority of people there are from the Asia in general, and so they come over and get educated and they go back. But what's interesting is they don't lack intellectual power. You know what I'm saying? If they buckle down and get it done, they can get it done. So, but it's just the time, right? How long would it take for them to really get it up and running? And the biggest key when you're making chips, down to the water, the noise, it's got to be perfect. This is why, plus you need a ton of water. You need a ton of things that so it's just, they need to make sure. And I don't think they would be slow to do it, but they can't mess up. And so, one little mess up but it's just, it takes time. So I would think between 3 to 5 years, or they can just take over Taiwan, and then from there set themselves up pretty well in regards to creating their own chips. But here's the problem, right? America's like, nah, like you're not going to do that, because that's where we get a lot of our chips, a lot of our stuff. So if I was China, I would cause some type of distraction with Russia that then would cause China almost like you said, in a sneaky way to get over there. Now, we actually talked about this about a year ago. When there was a big move, China had already crossed over. They were messing with China, or they were messing with Taiwan, and they were just saying, we're going to take over Taiwan. This is about a year ago, and I said, I see Russia causing more of an issue if they're going to do it. Because if you can throw two sides of the war on, America would have to pick one. It would have to fund and take care of NATO, because NATO is not at that point where they can actually create their own. We're going to have to fund it, to have to deploy our self-interest over.
Pedro, you just your connection faded out there.
Can you hear me now?
Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to wait for Pedro's connection to come back. He was right in the middle of talking about a foreign government, and suddenly his connection doesn't work. Anyway, you're watching DYOR Live here on the DYOR Media Network. Ladies and gentlemen, the markets are responding today to lots of downside, massive liquidations in Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, Dogecoin, all the usual suspects. Even the S&P 500 down a lot. NASDAQ down a lot again, too. Nice big red day. That doesn't, like I said before, it doesn't mean that things are bad. Things can be good. As we always like to say, we love the market seeking out liquidity. We love the volatility that goes along with it, because we know if the markets are going to go down, what are they eventually going to do? That's right, they're going to go back up, and you want to take advantage of that. And you take advantage of that by listening to DYOR Live and listening to where Pedro tells you those pools of liquidity are. And while he straightens out his feed and his audio there, we are going to see if Rumble wants to give us another ad. That would be really nice. It was time already for that.
Can you hear me now? Hello?
And
can you hear me now?
It is not. It's not time yet. They're still saying that we've got more time. But anyway, as I like to thank everybody for watching this. Pedro, you're still
hello.
Your screen and your audio feed are still down. I see that you rejoined. Hold on a sec. I'm going to refresh something. I think we should be able to hear you now. Yeah, hold on one second here, Pedro. Let's where did there we go. We should be able to hear you now, Pedro. Yep, we got you, Pedro.
Okay, you can see me now?
Yep. Your link came back. It disappeared when you refreshed it. It came back.
Okay. All right.
It was pretty amazing about how you were talking about some of these other countries, and then it disappeared. As an assassin goes in and takes out Pedro.
Nah.
Actually, your charts didn't come back, and I don't know why. Give me 1 second here, ladies and gentlemen. I'm gonna fix Pedro's screen feed. Let's see here what went on with that. 1 second. Yeah, we can hear you, Pedro.
Meet my maker and hang out with one of my best friends, Jesus. So it'll be a good day for me. Anyhow, so like what I was saying here, if I'm literally going to really kind of throw off the world, I would want a dual war happening. I would want one on with Europe, and I would want one with Taiwan, and seeing Kim Jong-un as well as a few of the other and I think even though they would not want it, I think they would support, because the culture itself is always saving face, right? And we've already seen a lot of Vietnam, as well as a few of the other nations out there, which is more like socialist / communism, are set up that way. So I think they would definitely be part of the axis of Russia, Iran, and China, and North Korea. So I would assume that they would definitely fight that. So if America had to come in, save face or save Taiwan, because they would need to, because of what is actually happening with the chip making. It's primary, right? America would basically, we would also be in a major struggle as well if that area was to get completely demolished. Now we have stuff here in America, but it's not at the quality and development status of
or just the capacity
and the capacity,
right? We can make 1 million chips, but I don't know the actual number. We can make 1 million, but we need 1 billion, and and that's not fast to spin up. You got to, there's only two companies in the world that make the super small, mega, nano, whatever it is, chip sizes now. They all come from the Netherlands, and their production lines are built out for years, and it's just, it's not an easy thing.
Russia up there. Having Russia up there, I know the first thing I would do is take over that lane. They're already up there.
Well, they couldn't take it over, but they could disrupt it.
That would be my first thing. If I'm Russia, I'm setting that up from a geopolitical standpoint so that we could actually mess, much like I've sent the Houthis over there, and I'm put on their winter coats and just start jihading.
Those poor Houthis are getting mowed down like the North Koreans in the Ukraine.
Well, watching what's actually happening with a lot of what's happening in Israel and literally the UAE, with everything, just there's so much stuff there that's happening that, again,
you almost can't keep track of it anymore.
Yeah, it's just there's so much happening right now, and so watching, the Arab culture is starting to get really kind of pushed back by what Israel's doing with what's happening with Hamas in Gaza, and watching the narrative change. At first they were like, okay, we get it, but now they're like, dude, the Shiites are definitely, or more of the conservative view, that like the far right conservative view of the Islamic nation is definitely pushing hard on this, saying, hey, look, this is who Israel is. You guys are being okay with this. And so from a religious standpoint, they're almost like being pushed to having to step in. So now America's going to back Israel. So now what if they all start to sit there and say, we're going to now go after Israel, now America is going to have to then also back Israel. So you literally would have 3 fronts going on. And and if I'm going to push that, that's what I'm going to push. And America won't be able to sustain all 3 fronts. And it's going to be real interesting to see if this escalates to that level. I pray it doesn't, everything calms down, but it could easily have us fighting and producing on all 4. And here's the other part is, are American men willing, I talked about, we need manufacturing jobs. Well, remember World War II? Manufacturing jobs kicked off, right? Can the American men work 16 hours a day, like what was happening?
The answer to that, Pedro, is unequivocally yes, as long as people see it as something good to do. Here's a great example, is that in the news we've been talking about the H-1B visas, and Trump putting $100,000 fee for every H-1B visa. For those of you who don't know, it's, or maybe foreigner, not United States centric, that's the visa that people use to bring in foreign workers because they can't find an American to do it. Now, which used to be meant for very targeted jobs. Like, I need a British guy to come use a British accent and speak in this movie. Okay, that's it. Now it's like 72% is just Indian tech workers, and what they've done is they've caused that industry, the salaries to be lower. Because, obviously there's many high-end top guys that get a visa for under that, but most of them are Indian tech workers, and they're coming in driving the price down as companies bring them in and lower the salary. So as a result, American men don't see a future in those jobs because they're like, all right, it's low paid. They have 5 families living in a single house, doing this type of stuff on these H-1B visas. And so they say, I see a better life in trades, which is fantastic. That's good. We need people in trades. However, in the long term, we also need people going to school, doing the research, coming up with the next generation of new stuff and all that type of stuff. But the skills section that you're talking about, Pedro, are people willing to do these jobs? They are if they see a future in it. If they just see it as like, oh, I'm going to go make $18 an hour and work with a bunch of people in on H-1B visas, people are not incentivized to do that. But if there's like a great example is HVAC guys and plumbers and electricians. All of a sudden, people are seeing that as a career. They can operate their own small business. They can get paid well. They can do good quality work, and they see it as a career and something that's satisfying. Thus, people are flocking to those jobs. They're paying a lot. And so tech is like, well, we can't just have people, we can't hire anybody. Can't hire any Americans. They can't hire any Americans at the price and career objectives that they're offering. And that's not a reason to bring people in. It's a reason for them to fix their company and to have and to pay people and incentivize people to work for them better. My opinion on it.
There you go. I think that's a decent, and I would love to hear the other side of really companies going out and really just bringing. Now, is it because there's a lack of skilled Americans who code, that are that skilled as well? I mean, yeah, cheap labor is important, but also if it's the same skill set and you can hire them cheaper, well, why wouldn't I do that? You know what I'm saying? Like,
why wouldn't you train an American to do it then?
Because it's cheaper to go and get those guys. If they're willing, like, I'll put it like this. Where I live, there's also an area where there's a huge tech hub. Absolutely. And so they're kind of all in a building, and they all sit there and they crunch, and they work for a big energy sector individual company, and literally they hire them, and I say literally it's all Indian dudes, right? They're all out there smoking, like, I mean, it's kind of crazy, right? yeah, it's literally, man, it's kind of crazy how many they can smoke. I mean, and then they go right back in, and they're there making their money. But the reality is they're really sending that money back home over to India. But more importantly, if I'm a company and I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, I have to hire an American. I have to sit there, give them all of these benefits, everything that correlates with it, and they're just as good as these guys. Where's like,
well, there's a difference here, Pedro.
Listen, this is the conundrum.
There's a difference.
How do you play that?
Well, here you're forgetting the difference between hiring a company in India, where the people are over there. Check audio.
Tom, I can't hear you.
Hold on.
I can't hear you.
Hold on. Check audio. Audio check. Check audio check.
Hey guys, can you hear him?
Pedro's
is it just me?
Connection.
And somehow, give me 1 second.
For those of you listening, who are you listening to? Who can you hear? Pedro's feed is being hacked again by the North Koreans. Let me bring up.
Okay. Yeah, I can hear you. No, they can hear you. They can hear you.
All right. They can hear me.
Can hear
Pedro, your connection seems to be coming back here.
Yeah, no, I can't hear you, but you're live on the. They can hear you. I just can't hear you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. I even forgot what I was talking about. But Pedro, what you were confusing was contracting with overseas companies to get cheaper labor and like sending, there's big farms of warehouses just full of people in India versus bringing those people to the U.S. and taking U.S. jobs and having the Indian move from India to the United States and have the job pay them, say, $20 an hour. And undercut the American who would have taken it for $22 to $25 an hour. That's the difference. Is when we have unemployment. This is a whole economic discussion, but we have unemployment. There shouldn't be any foreign workers coming in. People should pay to be retrained. You should retrain your workforce. Pedro, you should be able to hear everything here, Pedro. Where did Pedro go? All right, but ladies and gentlemen, once again, we're just working through a few technical issues here today. I don't know why we can't hear Pedro. I can see your little. Pedro, go ahead and talk there. Can you hear us? Can you hear us, Pedro? Earth to Pedro. Earth to Pedro. Pedro, did you put your thing on mute? I'm gonna hit you up on Telegram, Pedro. Mute. Just stand by with us 1 second there, ladies and germs. Here you go, Pedro.
Okay, so what about now? Can you hear me now? Can you, you guys should be able to hear me, but I still can't hear you for whatever reason.
Check, audio check, ladies and gentlemen. Pedro. You should be able to hear us. Pedro's internet, I can tell Pedro's internet connection is going out here. Check, 1 2 1 2. Anyway, let me check the old commercials here, see if we can get. And welcome to everyone that's watching us. It's that time of the day for, as they say, to make a little monies. And we're gonna do that right now. Offer does not match. All right, let's get this straight here. It's time to refill the old coffee, I believe here. You know what? Oh, look at this one. We haven't had this one before, and I'm very happy. Ladies and gentlemen, let's be clear. The cryptocurrency is no longer emerging. It's here. And this latest move cements the reality in the biggest way yet. Sorry. Trying to get this queued up here. Let's be clear. Cryptocurrency is no longer emerging. It's here. And its latest move cements that reality in the biggest way yet. Boy, this is written poorly. The Trump Media Group just inked a massive $6.4 billion deal with Crypto.com, the world's top crypto platform. They're teaming up to scoop up $6.4 billion in Crow, the powerhouse token that fuels fast, low-fee DeFi staking rewards and real-world perks like cashback on your spends. To launch America's first Crow treasury. When it's done, this new company will be the biggest Crow holder out there. Do you want in on the action? Head to Crypto.com today and grab some Crow. Let's make crypto great again. Oh, that's a great ad. I like that one now. They need to get the AI out of it and have someone reread these things. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, as always, there is a QR code. I think it's this way here. Yeah, this. Nope, this way. this way, on this side of me, if you're watching on the big screen TV, ladies and gentlemen, hold your cell phone up there and click that QR code and visit crypto.com and let them know that our viewers are interactive and are interested in their products. Also, if you're watching this on the replay down in the bottom down here in the description, there'll be a link to crypto.com. Go ahead and do us a favor and click on that. It helps Pedro and I greatly. Thanks to crypto.com for sponsoring this segment of DYOR Live. All right, ladies and germs. Pedro, are you back with us there? Pedro? Pedro, Earth to Pedro. Pedro. Check, 1 2 1 2. Let's see. I'm going to reset this again, Pedro, and see what happens. Pedro, you there? Earth to Pedro. All right, looks like you can hear me, but we cannot hear you. There we go. Hey, Earth to Pedro, he's back. I don't know what happened there. But when your connection dropped, it reset. You took a while to come back on, and then the system reset, the audio system reset. But we are back. And I just read. I don't know if you heard it, but I just read a nice ad from Crypto.com.
Oh, cool. Shout out to Crypto.com.
That was the first one. It was unfortunately it was written quite poorly. It was hard. It was a very hard one to read. What if you Rumble advertiser people are watching, get random people to read your ad without seeing it first, because these things pop up on our screen here and we just got to read them. So they have to be real smooth for the advertiser's voice. It's got to be in short phrases so we can say, go to crypto.com or you'll be ashamed for the rest of your life. And if you have lots of if, thens, and or that have been twos and that, it's not good. It's not good, clean English, y'all. Anyway, Patrick says 4-hour candle starting now on Aster. Pedro, I don't have a lot of time left here. We went an hour late because I started an hour late. But let's hit up Aster again and the markets in general and.
USDT, here we go. Hit our area right here. So we're tapping that area. We talked about that 1 hour area here on Aster. We came in, boom, we finished off the last little bit. You can see here, volume coming in. We'll check out the 5 minute. Did they set up? A lot of demand wicks going up. One, boom, 1 2. 1 2 1 1 2.
What time frame chart you got up there, Pedro?
No, this is the 5 minute. So it's and Pat will know what I'm talking about. 1 1. Okay. 1 2 1 2 1 2. Nothing. This is at what time? 45. Okay. Communication. Boom. 30 minute. It is looking hot. It does look like it might continue up. Like you can see what I'm seeing here, right? We're watching the kink. Yeah, it might push through. We're coming down first is what it should do. Like I said, you have all of this area here, but you have a lot of seller wicks here. Let me pull this up here real quick. I have watching. All right. We'll talk. We can talk here in a second. I know you're trying to close up. So I'm looking at Aster right now. Aster could pull back up into this higher area here of that 216. Saw a lot of seller volume step in though, which is indication that it did sell off hard. You can see here as we're setting that up, it's pulling back. It's got to stay, it's got to stay above that 5 and 15 to see it continue up. But you can see here that the momentum, because of the actual candles are getting smaller, is dying down. Then you can see here, as we're moving up, the last part here is this. Look at the volume. Volume is dying off. Volume dying off on the 15-minute. We're seeing it go up. We're hitting an area of supply pullback. So to me, I'm looking to short this. But you do have evidence of moving up. When you go to that 5-minute, it is a racetrack down. So, but this is where I'd be looking, and that is an 8-hour candle. And you understand what that means.
Pedro, both you and Patrick have referenced racetrack here.
Yes.
What does that mean?
This means it's an easier way for price to come back down. So a lot of times when I'm sitting there and I'm trading, I want to see, can price come down to an area easily? That's really what I'm looking for. That's how I'm able to call those price points so easy. I'm not going to go into detail, just simply because it would take 5 hours for me to go over that. I mean, I'm not joking when I say 5 to 7 hours, because it's a lot of information understanding it. But just basically means that price, as it's moving up, makes it easier for it to come back down to an area or go back up to an area. So that's it in a nutshell. And that's what.
Yeah, Patrick, I think you're right on that. He was talking about short-term shorts, but over the long term, Aster is.
Oh,
if CZ's behind it, he's thinking this needs to be a, many $100 coin, not $2 or $1.50.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, I think we could see a $300 billion market cap on this. I don't know what what is going on? Why is let me pull up Aster price here for their market cap. I think it's $2 billion right now. I think we could see a $300 billion coin here over the next, potentially two bull runs here. So I think this is their play for a decentralized system. And knowing CZ with just his backing that he has with Binance and everything else that correlates there, this could be their decentralized system apart from their centralized system. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens here and the correlation that plays. But again, I'm still very bullish long term. Right now, we're just fighting over pennies. How far is it going to go down, right? And I think that's a big deal personally, because that's the difference between buying like Crow at, 5 cents versus 8 cents. Well, you're picking up a drastic amount more, right? At those levels, we're talking doubling, making when, like as Crow, if it hits 1 million or versus 500,000, right? Because that 5 cents versus 10 cents doesn't seem that big of a deal, but it is. Or the difference between 500,000 versus $750,000 made at these levels, because 1 cent down is a big deal. So that's why that's how I look, because I'm thinking 5 years, 10 years out, right? Now the difference between it sitting at 100 billion versus 200 billion. Well, I mean, you're making money, and definitely you're making money, but it's sitting at 2 billion or 2.8 billion versus 2 billion or 1.5 billion market cap at these levels here is a dramatic difference here.
Yeah, Patrick says Grok is calling it at $25. That AI's got it all figured out already.
It very much could. Yeah, Patty, man, I love it, man. Where is he? Is he on Rumble or is he on? I'm looking for.
Yeah, he's watching us on. No, he's not. He's got the YouTube feed going, which is fine. At least someone over there. Now, Pedro, I'm hoping, I don't know if you followed the YouTube news lately, but YouTube finally came, or Google Alphabet came out and said, yeah, we did censor everybody during the Rona Bona era, and we demonetized people and kicked them off and all this type of stuff. And they finally admitted it. And one of the reasons why they admitted it is that Rumble had, I think the stat is like 50% as many views. Like YouTube's still a mega monolith here in streaming, but during the whole Charlie Kirk thing and all that type of stuff, Rumble had millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of views. And all the stations that had those millions and millions and millions of views were all ones that got kicked off YouTube.
Yeah.
And YouTube all of a sudden comes out. There was no other news cycle for government censorship. And all of a sudden they just come out and go, well, we'll give them their stations back and all this kind of stuff. Which means they didn't really, delete them. They just got turned off. And livelihoods taken, because all these people, that was their livelihood. But it caused Rumble their numbers to go crazy, become profitable, grow like nuts, all that type of stuff. But Alphabet just came out and said, yep, the Biden administration called us and we censored you. How about that? That?
I think what's interesting is, Zuckerberg talks about it.
Yeah, right? He admitted it a year ago.
Yeah. Zuckerberg talks about it. Google, I was expecting Google to come out. The next one is honestly MySpace. Oh, she's shouting out too. What's up? That's what I'm saying, Callie. Come on, girl. Sorry. But on the back end, so they guess who they give their stuff back to, right? Who's one of the most watched people on the face of the planet right now, besides Donald Trump? And
Joe Rogan?
Oh, yeah, I forgot Joe Rogan. Yeah, you're right. Absolutely. But I meant, it starts with an A. His first name is Alex Jones. Okay.
InfoWars. Right. I don't know why I was.
And that's okay. That's all right.
Yeah.
So the reason why I bring him up is, so they bring him back and then they shut him right off again. Which cracks me. He's like,
it turns out he was crazy. Yeah, we let him back, but what did he say? Actually, I have listened to the InfoWars channels, and they do have some other people on there that are not as crazy, and have some good. Yeah. They at least thoroughly discuss the fringes around all the topics, and Alex Jones lost $1 billion, and he lost his studio, he lost his intellectual property, all this type of stuff, because he was saying some really stupid things. And he lost it through a court and a jury and all this type of stuff, so don't beat me up for that. And he still addresses the fringe topics, but he does it in a way that is fairly truthful instead of just making up stuff. And to be honest, those guys, I watched a bunch of those guys, and they fought such a clickbait battle that the different, streamers on that edge of the talk show group, and the more crazy someone would be, the more viewers they would get. That whole fringe group would go to them. And there are certain advertisers that follow those guys around because they buy a lot of stuff. They buy prepper stuff, they buy, yada, yada, blah, blah, blah. And so they would, it's just like when Fox admitted during the voting machine lawsuit, they got their emails and they said, look, we have to keep saying that the election was stolen, because if we don't, all the viewers will go over to Alex Jones and ON News and all those types of things. So we have to lie. And so these people fight these clickbait battles in order to have the sponsors follow them. And that's what happens. And so, but now they've said, all right, if they're all going to not do that, if they're all going to just at least still discuss the topics they want to, just not make up shit like Jimmy Kimmel did. Just talk about the controversy. They can do that all day and people will love watching it. Sponsors will go there. Just can't make up blatant lies like Kimmel did. Yeah, and Alex Jones.
Well, and here's the other part. So I'll read the headline that I saw. So YouTube.
Thanks for joining us today, Patrick. He's off to mine fiat. Thanks, I appreciate it. No, he's off to the beach. I forgot he's on vacation.
Yeah, I'm a little jealous. Boom. What is going on here? Why is that? Where am I at? So I want to read this because it's really funny. So YouTube bans Alex Jones and Nick Fuentes' new channel despite saying its commitment to free expression earlier this week. Air quote, free expression. And so I just thought it was funny that like, sorry, that was my teacup.
Fuentes is out there too, man. He's like normal. Then all of a sudden he gets to screaming into his computer and into the camera, and you're like, man, this guy's out there.
Well, I mean, I think people would also consider us sometimes out there, especially with my conspiracy theories rants. But the problem is,
you're nothing like those guys. Nothing. Not even sort of close.
Yeah, I do thought experiments all the time, and I run it out. And then actually I write a lot out my thought experiment. I love digital stuff because I would have literally books and books of stuff, but it's all on my tablet, dude. But I literally will sit there and be like I was talking to somebody because somebody was watching my show, and they were like, how are you able to kind of do, like, it's almost like he basically said, you're like a financial, like, madman genius. And I said, what? I said, you're crazy. What are you talking about? He goes, I've been watching now for a while, and you're really good at really seeing where things are going. Well, I go, okay. So basically what I do is I will, like, when you watch Tom Bilyeu's show, Tom Bilyeu is very, he's good at this. He'll sit there and be like, okay, here's the issue, here's the problem. These are the circumstances that are happening. And he's very binary, though. He goes, if this happens, this or this will happen. And then he'll goes, the most likely this will happen. And then he goes, this is going to be order consequences. Dun, dun. Right? Very binary. And then he'll shoot in a direction. And that's normal. That's actually what most people do. But the reality is that for every circumstance, there's about 5 different circumstances that will most likely happen. Right? And so what you do is you take the original circumstance, like, okay, Russia is starting to fly over airspace into Europe. Okay. So you need to honestly have 3 different scenarios that are going to happen, and then 2 scenarios that are just left field. Okay. And in doing that, then you need to branch out on this level right here. The normal. So you're going to, for this circumstance that happens. And then what happens is you play that out, try to play that out 2 to 3 circumstances. Once you start to see a correlation of a lot of those circumstances happening, right? Because you're going to have 25 to 30 circumstances that are going to come out of this, because each one produces 5. But they're all going to start to have 1 or 2 correlation that correlates with all of them. There will be a lot of branch situations happening, but they all will have certain things happen. And what you can do is you take the correlated pieces and bring them together out of all of, like, basically it's probably about 100 scenarios that you're going to come out with. But here's the thing, out of those 100 scenarios, you're going to have a correlation that all parallel to each other. And then that's really where you got your thought stream come from.
I'm just gonna nod and say, yep.
Yeah, you're right.
That I wish I had my sound activated, because that would have been, what do I do with my hands on that one?
What do I do with hands? But it's a good thing. Like, you have your original circumstances, and then come out with 5 circumstances that could happen. And
then you gauge them. You go up and down the tree of circumstances, and
man, get out of here, bro. We got to get out of here.
Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for putting up with Pedro and I today. We really appreciate it. We're going to be talking a lot about Aster in the next couple of days, probably for a long time here, so long as CZ stays in the game with them. It's got to push big. We'll start talking about it more in depth next week. Today is Thursday. Tomorrow we'll have a Friday show for you. Pay attention. We're going to be doing some premium shows coming up here. We got to get 5 hours in before the end of the month here. We should have just added the last hour to that today. possibly an evening Space Lounge show. I've got the Space Lounge reset up here. Pedro on the beautiful frame next to me here. Look at that, ladies and gentlemen. We got the fire. He had the Fire Chicken chart up there. Fire Chicken, guys, we missed you today, but we'll go over it with you tomorrow. But as I always like to say, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for joining us. I really appreciate it. Please come back tomorrow to the same bat channel, the same bat place. I know someone else said that a long time ago, but I stole it. And enjoy the show with us. Remember, share this. Share it, even the replays, all that type of stuff. It all works out great. When you do that, it helps Pedro and I dramatically. So anyway, as I always say, my name is Tom, otherwise known as Striking. The man in the box next to me is Mr. Pedro Garcia, the crypto chart analyst. We'll see you guys tomorrow.